Hey, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural episode of At Nerdvana Live. At Nerdvana Live is a weekly video call-in show streamed via YouTube and Twitch and available as an audio podcast later. My name is Randy Pitchford, and I am your host today. My co-host is Elisa Melendez. She's the new media manager for Gearbox Software, and we're currently broadcasting live from At Nerdvana in Frisco, Texas. This place is really cool. You can kind of see people hanging out in the coffee shop. At Nerdvana Coffee and Shop is an incredible coffee shop. It's in Frisco, Texas. It features curated, locally roasted, single-source coffee and is also a board game shop. There's a free lending library and a wide floor of gaming tables where you can bring your own games to play. They don't force you to buy theirs. There is a retail shop. You can buy games, but it's really all about the coffee. They also have incredible Texas toasts, paninis, and other great stuff and snacks. I prefer the decadent sipping chocolate, which I have here.
Which is not a regular hot chocolate. It is a sipping chocolate.
It's pretty sick what they do. I found out exactly how they make this because it's like normally when you think hot chocolate, you think powdered chocolate powder mixed in hot water, right? It's like Swiss Miss stuff. This is not that at all. They start with a legit chocolate ganache and they emulsify it in superheated, creamy, milky stuff. Like cream and milk, basically. And it's ridiculous. It's like drinking a chocolate bar. It's amazing.
It's fantastic.
It's not very thirst quenching, but it's about the tastiest thing I've ever had. The other cool thing about this podcast booth is it's actually sitting kind of halfway between the coffee shop and the sister business, which is At Nerdvana Food Plus Spirits. It's right next door, and it's an awesome video game themed bar and restaurant. It's got a scratch kitchen, craft beers, custom cocktails. They've got tons of booths, each equipped with video game systems from retro classics like Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis all the way to modern machines like Sony PlayStation 4, Microsoft Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. And I'm there all the time playing games with friends and family. And in fact, our podcast, it's broadcast live from this windowed booth. It's sitting on top of both these things. So if you're in the house, you can see us working here. But after the show, in about 90 minutes, we'll be having dinner in the At Nerdvana restaurant.
Yay!
So if you're in the area and you'd like to meet either Elisa or myself and have dinner with us and the crew, you're welcome to come by and say hi and stay for some incredible food and drinks. By the way, I highly recommend in the restaurant the Hadouken Beef.
Ooh.
It is legit. Have you had the Hadouken?
So it's spicy.
Yeah, well, you don't have to have the Hadouken sauce. But if you notice, like Hadouken, of course, is the move from Street Fighter, and if you notice when you order it, the arrangement, the presentation is such where it's these strips of Japanese beef that are like it's a fillet cut, and it's absolutely incredible meat. And there's 3 strips of this, and they're cut and they're laid out such that the first one's pointing down. The next one points down at an angle to the right. And the third one points to the right. And then the Hadouken sauce is at the end. So it's down, angle, right, punch. The presentation of the food is the move to perform Hadouken in Street Fighter. It's pretty rad.
And I say this with the most complimentary form ever. That is the nerdiest thing I've ever heard.
It is, right? And the restaurant's full of stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so if you want to come and hang out with us after the show, we'll be there in about 90 minutes. So if you happen to be in North Dallas, anywhere near Frisco, you're welcome to come by and say hi. But right now we're doing the show, so let's get on to it. This is a live call-in show.
Yes.
You should see the number on your screen. If you'd like to talk to Elisa and I about anything, you can call in and we'll get you on the air. Look, I'm comfortable taking any kind of question. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. The only thing that I ask is that the goal is to be respectful of the audience, right? Because we're trying to entertain people. Maybe some folks might find this interesting or insightful, at the very least entertaining. The format for the show is that the host and co-host will chat. We'll chat for a few minutes about something topical, something interesting, hopefully, and then that'll kick things off, and then we'll go to the phone lines and take calls. So anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. This is a live show, and I'm kind of hoping anything does. I want to see what you folks have for us that might be interesting.
I'm excited and
You're right. Now, I just learned, before we get to it, I just thought I just want to get one thing out of the way because I literally just learned a few minutes ago that some shit went down in Texas and a tragedy is unfolding. And I wanted to say that my heart breaks and my deepest sympathies and best wishes go out to anyone affected. And it's tempting to focus on it for a minute, but I'm going to respectfully stay on topic, mostly because I'm just woefully ill-equipped for the inevitable politics and policy discussion. I am totally apolitical. I've never voted. I don't have a party. I decided long ago that I would commit my life and dedicate my life to entertainment. I made this decision because our world is dangerous and scary, and I think that joy and happiness is what makes it fun and worth living and gives us some value. It helps us, get through. So I've committed myself to trying to create joy and happiness. And while I might not always succeed for all of you, I've made it my life work, and I'm going to keep swinging at it. And creating joy and happiness is also what's behind the show. So let's get started. Elisa, what's going on in nerd world, in video game world, in pop culture world that you want to talk about?
I feel like, speaking of joy and happiness, I feel like we have had just an onslaught of things that have brought so many people lots of joy in the last couple of weeks. I feel like...
You're talking about entertainment, content?
Oh, yes.
Media, yeah.
We had 3 critically acclaimed...
They all did pretty well.
Amazing games drop on the same day. That would be Wolfenstein 2, Super Mario Odyssey, which I am getting into because I just got a Switch because I just couldn't take it anymore. Okay.
It's interesting that Mario Odyssey got you there. That's so great. It's worth it, right?
Yeah, I'd been waiting. I feel like with a new console for me, I used to treat it like I used to treat albums back when I used to buy CDs. Back in my day. Compact discs. Because CDs used to be expensive, and back when I was buying CDs, I was young and had an allowance and I didn't have a lot of money. So I would say, okay, if I like more than 3 songs on this CD, then it's worth it. I'll buy the whole thing and I'll probably like everything else. So that's kind of how I treat new consoles.
I used to calculate my video game value by dollars per minute or dollars per hour, and I used to compare the net result to like other forms of entertainment. Like, did I get more hours of entertainment per dollar spent with this video game than I would have, for example, if I went to see a blockbuster movie or bought a CD or something?
Right.
And lately, I mean, video games kill it every time.
Yep, every time.
At least the good ones.
Yeah, so then, I really wanted to get the Switch. Then I said, okay, cool, Zelda, cool. But that's one. And then I saw Splatoon 2 came out, and I said, okay, that's cool.
Have you played Zelda?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so now that you have a Switch, once you get through Odyssey, go ahead and get it. Your brain and your heart will love you for the rest of your life. It is amazing. And if that was the only title ever launched for the Switch, it would have been worth it for me. By my same metric of dollars per hour of entertainment.
Good to know.
Yes.
Yeah, so then as soon as Super Mario Odyssey came out, I'll admit I'm also kind of a sucker for this too. So Odyssey was released, and then they announced that there was a Switch bundle with Odyssey, but then it also had 2 red Joy-Cons. And I don't know if you noticed, but red seems to be a thing, and I couldn't resist. So then at that point... Enough of a catalog had built up, and then Stardew Valley 2, which I also hear is amazing. Enough of a catalog had built up, and 2 red Joy-Con equals I had to have it.
It's interesting that worked on you. Like, that's never the gimmicky like bundles and controller colors. That's never worked on me, but I'm glad to know someone. Now I know why they make those. Now I know why it happens.
Yeah, and it was a good deal because if I had gotten a Switch and then I wanted to get an extra red Joy-Con and then I had to buy the game, and then it also came with a case. So for the value and for the happiness I was going to get having 2 matching red Joy-Con, it was all worth it. And so far, Super Mario Odyssey is...
It's great, right?
It's awesome.
It's really great. It's really great. I'll tell you what, I love everything about it. I think the cappy mechanic is clever. They've used this. If you haven't played it yet, Mario has a hat, of course, but now he can use his hat, and it simultaneously is a weapon and a mechanic for possessing, I guess, sentient but not always sentient creatures. Like there's certain things in the game that if you throw the hat on it, the hat will stick on it, and then you can control it or get a perspective from it, or some other kinds of interfaces happen. But this is batshit crazy, insane stuff. It doesn't matter. It works, and it's great, and it's marvelous. And somehow they've managed to take Mario and turn it with the hat into a third-person shooter and I'm down with that. I'm down with
I
that.
didn't even think about it like that, but
I'm
it
down
totally
with it.
did.
I'm down with it. I've always had a special fondness in my heart for Nintendo and for Mario, and it's pretty cool that they're still going for it. I think a lot of game makers might feel fatigue, feel like maybe the audience wouldn't be there if they keep iterating on the same thing, right? Because this Mario Odyssey is very much in the line of Super Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, and that it's in that lineage, right? But I think that iteration is how we find quality, and if a game experience is fun, it's okay. It's okay for it to kind of double down on what makes it fun. One of the things I hate the most is when there's a franchise I love and they're going to do like sequels and they try to do so much new or different that they kind of ruin what I loved about it. And that happens over and over again. And sometimes the consequences of those decisions kill studios. Don't just kill franchises, but kill studios. My brain went to Dead Space, which I loved. I loved the Dead Space, and they just changed too much, trying to make it new or trying to reach a different audience. And I think they should have embraced the audience that loved them for what they were. But one of the things we have, one of the things that's neat about this world is any one of us can create things. And if we think we can do better than someone else, we could bitch about it, or we can just make our own stuff. And so I know a lot of people like to bitch about some of the decisions we make, and that's fair. But I was that guy too, and that's kind of why I got into game making. Is instead of bitching, I'll just do it my way, and I'm going to do it my way. And some people like it, and some people don't, and other people can do it their way, and that's how we do it. But the other launch was Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
And those guys, I remember they came out, the first Assassin's Creed came out a little after we had launched the Brothers in Arms games. And we were working with Ubisoft when that franchise was created. And it was such an exciting kind of new thing. And it's really neat that they've been able to stick with it and find ways to innovate in sort of the setting and the environment, but still kind of maintain the core of what makes Assassin's Creed games. Have you started playing the Egypt Assassin's Creed yet?
I have not started playing Origins. Our tech over there has started playing, and he showed me the map and zoomed out, and I said, I don't know if I can. I don't have time. I don't have the time. I'm already stressing out about the amount of moons I'm gonna have to capture in Super Mario Odyssey, and then to know that there's this whole other Egyptian fabulous world to explore. There are not enough hours in the day.
Right.
I can't.
You know what? We find them though. I will say this. I am similar. I spend every day we have to wake up and decide how much of our time are we going to spend making new things versus consuming the things that other people do. And I tend to spend most of my time making new things, but I want to consume it all. And so one of the things I do is I sample a lot. Like there are games that get me, and I finish them. Mm-hmm. But most games I don't finish. Most games I sample and get enough where I feel like, okay, I got it, and then I go somewhere else. There's just too many options. But everyone has a different way about this. What system? So besides the Switch, which has Mario Odyssey, before the Switch, what system do you play the most on?
Xbox.
Right on. And you know what's interesting? In the last generation, I was mostly an Xbox guy because of gamer score. Basically, I was just totally. I was a gamer score whore, is the correct term. I believe that's the appropriate term. But now I play a lot of PS4, and I'm playing a lot of PC. I play a lot of PC games, and the thing that I like about PC is that's where there's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of indie stuff coming out. But man, I would not want to be an indie title right now because last week we had, Assassin's Creed Origins, we had the Wolfenstein game, and we had the Mario Odyssey, and then this week we've got the Call of Duty game. Have you played it yet?
No,
I haven't yet either. I'm looking forward to it. They went to World War II. I love that subject matter. Obviously, I immersed myself deeply in Brothers in Arms when we were creating that franchise, and I'm currently, working on new Brothers in Arms stuff that I'm very excited about that, we haven't announced yet. But I'm very curious to see how they approach the subject matter. I'm sure, as always, their multiplayer game will be solid. I can't compete, so I don't really play a lot of Call of Duty multiplayer, but I do appreciate it, and I tend to try it out a little bit, get my ass kicked, and kind of see what's going on. I remember back in the day, I was able to compete, and now it's just not possible.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What time is it? Should we talk to somebody?
Sure.
Should we get on the
Let's
line
try
here?
it out.
All right. Hey, if anybody's watching, please call. We got a screener that will get you in the queue, and I'm totally stoked to talk to you. I'll answer any question you want. Don't use the chat because I'm not looking at it. Call in. It's totally fine. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to take this call. Let's see who we've got here. Nerancia. Let's try. Okay. Hello, Nerancia.
Hi.
Is that who this is? Nerancia?
Yes, that's Nerancia. Hi. Hi there.
Oh, hi. Nice. You're calling from San Francisco. This is Randy. You're on the air.
Yes.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Okay.
How's your weekend going?
Pretty good. I'm about to go eat, but then I realized that, the show's going on, and I've been checking it out.
Oh, wow.
A question for you.
Well, thanks for sticking around.
Before I ask the question, just want to say I'm a huge fan of your work.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate all the work you did, and ever since Duke Nukem 3D, I've been following you around.
Wow.
Since I was a little kid. And Borderlands, Battleborn, all those stuff. I'm really a big fan of this, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And
thank you.
We all got your back and behind you.
Wow, thank you so much for the call. I feel like that was.
And also,
I did not expect such a nice call as the first call. Frankly, I'm really kind of hoping somebody challenges me, but I'll take the praise and the flattery. I'm down for that.
And also just real quick, favorite Battleborn character will be Shane, just so you know.
Okay.
So, keep up with Shane.
I got it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So my question is actually a personal question about you.
Okay.
And it's an urban legend around you.
Okay.
So I talked to so many journalists, critics, and stuff like that, who they always go in a bar after a convention and stuff like that. Then they always meet you at a bar, like a coincidence.
Okay.
They'll chat with you, share some drinks, share some stuff. And then there's a story that goes that after a meeting like this, if they ask you to do a magic trick, you'll do a quick one on the spot. Is this true or not?
You know what? So I used to be a magician, and a lot of people know that. Professionally. I literally paid my way through college performing magic in Hollywood, and that exact thing has happened multiple times where I'm out with people and somebody will just and what's funny is I stopped doing magic professionally because I thought my favorite type of magic was close-up magic, and I felt kind of limited in how many people I could reach at a time, and I was also programming computers and making video games as a hobbyist. I didn't realize that could be a career, but once I figured that out, I thought, wow, this is a way where I can reach a whole lot more people, and my entertainment could kind of reach new meaning. But I love magic, and I think I credit everything I know about entertainment to being a magician and to performing for live audiences and consuming live entertainment. Live entertainment is a whole new thing. But yeah, I've done that. I have done impromptu magic at bars and restaurants during game conventions because I've been asked to do it. That has happened.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So does that mean that if I ever do meet you in real life, you will do a magic trick on the spot?
Maybe. Sure. Yeah, I could probably do something.
I look forward to it.
Yeah,
I
usually have a deck of cards on me, but I also can, I can do it. There's some things I know that can use just any ordinary thing. Somebody's got $1.
Yeah, well, don't spoil it.
Fair enough. Right on.
Okay,
so you're a gamer. What kind of games do you like? I really appreciate the praise about the Gearbox stuff, but what other kinds of things do you dig?
Well, yeah, well, actually, my main attraction with, what type of game I like are the games that, I want to say, not really break the mold. But you know how for a long time, for the past, 8 years, we had this brown scale-looking game with always the average grunty Joe character, shaved hair, and, always an action guy charging in.
You just described Duke Nukem.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess also Duke Nukem was the first. Yeah. But in a way, I really like his games that try to defy that by making a whole bunch of fun roster of characters, lots of starters that has, not gonna say in-game humor, but you can tell the love and personality the people behind the game put behind the game.
I'll tell you what, that's great to hear because we love that. It's so much fun to just invent people and invent characters. And you can see, and what's cool is the way we do it at Gearbox is such where kind of the idea or the seed of it can come from anywhere. I'm working on a new character right now for a game that's in development that hasn't been announced yet. That I can't really talk about, but I'm working on a character that was actually inspired by our lawyer, by our general counsel. He's not even a game developer, but this guy can draw though. This dude has some art chops.
Really?
And but he came up with this character and he just started doing him, just sort of impromptu. I'm like, that is the funniest shit I've heard in a long time. So I just sort of, took it and started riffing it in a weird way. And I'm working on this right now, sort of as a goof. It'll probably be like a side thing. It's not going to be like a main. It won't even be Crazy Earl level involvement, but it'll be something, and hopefully. But I'm having fun with that. But it comes from everywhere. The process that we went through to hear character pitches and kind of figure out which characters we were going to make for Battleborn was just one of the coolest, funnest parts of game development I've ever witnessed, and it's so nice to be in a place. I'm so glad that the culture we've all created together. Obviously, I have a lot of accountability for it, being the head of Gearbox, but it's really everybody has created a culture where the games that we make are our games. They're not like my games. I'm a very small part of a big machine, and you can feel the personalities of the creators in the work, and I'm really excited that. I think if that wasn't the case, I probably wouldn't be at Gearbox. But that's one of the things I love about it, and I'm glad that you see that and that it comes through for you.
Yeah, you're welcome, and just same train of thought. That's why I've been a huge fan of Gearbox for all these years. And
awesome.
I hope you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. And it sounds like I kept you from eating. I don't know if you're going to stick around and listen to the rest of this.
I'm getting hungry here.
But yeah, you probably.
Lunch.
I'll let you go. I could talk to you for a long time, but I'll let you go. Thanks for your call. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Well, that was a really nice start. When I did this, I kind of committed myself. I thought, you know what? There's a lot of people that like to tear down the work we do, and I think that, to me, I've always been able to. I've been able to channel that into a positive thing because I know that when I consume entertainment, if I don't care about a thing, not only, I'm just not even going to care. There's no chance I'm going to want to attack it. So I always kind of think, well, people that might have issue with some of the things we do, that means we got to them. We got to them. They really, really care. But I was kind of preparing myself for that kind of call.
So was I.
Yeah, and I kind of, a part of me kind of hopes that call happens. Frankly, I kind of want to see, because I think people, when you engage personally, you might have a different kind of interaction than than when it's a distance. But that's so cool that he noticed that there's different developer personalities that come through in our characters.
Yeah, definitely.
And what do you like? What characters? Have you felt that with Gearbox games? Because you've been at Gearbox what now?
A year.
About a year, right?
A year.
So
a whole year.
And I'm assuming you probably played one or two of our games before joining Gearbox.
A smidge.
Okay, so did you feel that? Could you feel the personalities of the creators in the content, or?
So, I don't know if you noticed, but I do have an asymmetrical haircut that happens to be red.
Sure. Okay.
And I
Is
have
that
tattoos. Why? Yes. It's because of
kidding?
Lilith. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I got
Holy
my haircut
crap.
because of Lilith.
And you didn't tell us that during the interview process because you thought that would be too creepy.
No, because it's pandering. But literally,
that's awesome.
No, literally, I would build Borderlands as the game that brought my marriage closer together.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's legit because
you know what's funny is Borderlands brought my marriage closer together too. My wife and I game together and we couch co-op, and I think that experience, whether you're playing with a loved one or a family member or a friend, I think that experience of couch co-op is profound. And once you've had it, it's like the best kind of gaming in the world. And I think experiencing that is why we've really started and committed to so many co-op games at Gearbox.
Yeah, and it's definitely hard to go back. So we have a setup where it's 2 TVs and 2 consoles side by side.
That's so great. That's even better because you don't even have to split screen. You each get your full screen.
Exactly.
I have the same thing at home.
It's pretty great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
If you can pull it off, I highly
awesome.
recommend it. It's awesome. Yeah, because then even when we're not playing the same game, we can still kind of tap into what the other person is interested in. And sometimes there's a little bit of backseat driving that happens, and that's okay because it's still time we spend together.
Yes.
Instead it used to be, there was like Counter-Strike over here and World of Warcraft over here. But then as soon as we found something that kind of had elements that we both liked that we could play together, then that kind of changed the whole game, literally and figuratively for us.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So I want to take another call. I notice I'm like fidgeting with this wire.
Yeah. Where are your cards?
That's why I brought the cards so that I have something. I can't just sit idle. I have to be.
I know you're not monitoring the Twitch chat, but every once in a while I have a look, and people on the stream have definitely noticed the cards, and they're kind of wondering if there's some sort of payoff with the cards.
This is my fidget cube. This is my fidget spinner is cards, but before the show's over, I'll do a trick for you, or I'll do it for the audience.
Yay!
And I'll make something up. But let's take a caller. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna take this one right here. Been waiting for a few minutes. Hi, Christian. This is Randy. You're on the air. Is this Christian?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Christian.
Thanks for coming. You're calling from Florida, right?
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for calling. What questions do you got for us? What would you like to talk about?
About Borderlands.
You want to talk about the new Borderlands? What do you want to know? Do you have any specific question or just anything?
Yeah. From Florida.
I'm sorry?
I'm a huge fan of you and the Pitchford. You have done a great job.
Okay. And so you like Borderlands?
When you're gonna release a new teaser or trailer?
Oh, I see. I see. So here's the deal. I'm gonna hit you straight.
A new teaser or trailer?
You want a new trailer? You want something? I'm gonna hit you straight here. Are you ready for this? This is the benefit of a call-in show.
Yeah, I like Borderlands a lot.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. So it's a team effort. So the credit is really due to the team. But I'm going to hit you straight about what we're doing. So I have mentioned that, of course, we are working on more Borderlands. There's a lot of work going on at Gearbox right now. But we haven't announced anything new yet. And I'll tell you why. It's really, really important to me when we have the control and the freedom to make sure that we do not announce anything unless we've already got it. There's a lot of pressure in our industry sometimes to share things before we're ready. And when things are in development, things will change. And we have to figure it out and get the game together. So I want to make sure that all of the games we're working on, and we've got a few things going on, I want to make sure that we don't announce them until we're ready to announce them. And each thing kind of has a different kind of metric for that. a different kind of threshold for that. But we've earned kind of the right with some of our franchises to make sure we've got it before we expose what it is that we've got. And I think that's really important, because the minute people see something, they start setting their expectations around that and commit themselves to what that is. And I don't want to be in a spot where, while we're still making and we need to make changes, and people might be disappointed with some of the decisions we make. And we are a team full of artists and creators that are going to make decisions in real time about our art. And I've been in situations in the past where I've been compelled to talk about and announce products way too early. And I want to avoid that where I can. So for everything that we haven't announced yet, but that you or other people might anticipate that we're probably working on, please,
I got you.
please appreciate that. We kind of want to figure it out and make sure we have it before we share it. But I appreciate the interest. I mean, there's nothing that thrills me more than people that love our work so much that they want more from it and they can't wait for the next thing. So, yeah. So thanks. Thanks for calling. Is there anything else you wanted to chat about? All right. All right. Well, hey, Christian, thanks for calling.
I'm excited that
Yeah. I'm glad you're excited.
that I speak to you around the Pitchford.
Oh,
My
man.
huge fan of you.
Oh, man. Well, thanks. So where in Florida where are you? Where in Florida are you?
And thanks for the answer.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you. I was
so
gonna
much,
I was gonna
Christian.
make sure everything's okay. I know that there's been a lot of weather this summer season down there, and I just wanted to make sure you guys are okay down there. But thanks for calling, Christian, and I will maybe I'll talk to you some other time. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Tampa. Living in Tampa.
So you guys are okay.
Yeah.
Great, man.
Tampa's good.
Well, that's all right.
Warm
I've never been to Tampa, but I've been to Orlando a bunch, which is nearby. Because the other thing I'm kind of nerdy about is theme parks.
Oh, that'll be a whole other show.
Yeah, right. We can get into that.
Yeah.
Cheers. All right. Well, thanks for calling,
Thanks, Christian.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Great.
Well, that was interesting. Man, just love.
Yeah.
One of the things that's excruciating for me when we work on games that we haven't announced yet, like obviously we're doing cool stuff, and we sometimes get really excited about the stuff we're doing, and I'd love to share everything the second we're doing it. But I know that, if we're going to keep figuring things out and changing things that aren't finished yet, I don't want to disappoint anybody.
Yeah.
And I've kind of caught that in the past. So, I thanks everyone for giving us some slack. When we do announce future games that haven't been announced yet, that means we're ready. And it also means we have it. So you can trust that at that point we're gonna come with it, and what you see is what you get. Let's see. I've got another caller here. Let's try this one. Let's see. Let's try this. I guess this is your handle, Natsumi Ryu. Natsumi Ryu, is that you? Hi, thanks for calling.
Yeah.
This is Randy. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
You are live.
All right, thank you so much for taking my call.
Oh, right on. Oh, apparently you're a neighbor. You're in the DFW area.
Yeah, I've been to Nerdvana a couple times. I also enjoy the sipping chocolate there.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Awesome.
You just reminded me I'm going to have a sip right now.
There you go. Let's have a sippy.
Yeah, before it's cold, it turns into solid chocolate again.
That's
It's still good.
I think you're right. Oh man, the other thing I love doing, like I'll get a typical lunch for me is to get a decadent sipping chocolate and the Texas toast with the ham and Gruyere on it.
Ooh.
It's like the most amazing thing I've ever eaten. There's like this savory, kind of really light spread on the toast, and then they put the ham and the Gruyere cheese on it, and it's like the best thing I've ever eaten. I don't know why it tastes so good. The paninis are pretty good too, but that's like my lunch. Since Nerdvana is so close to Gearbox, like you come to Nerdvana and you're gonna see Gearbox people all the time.
Yep, it's dangerous.
So what's going on? What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
So I'm actually a representative from the Twitch chat because
Hey!
we have some non-US people in the Twitch chat.
You
and
are
they
a-
couldn't call in.
You are.
So I said I would call in for them.
That's amazing. So
Bless you.
You've self-designated as the Twitch representative. There's people, I guess, that wanted to. Okay, cool. Well, I'm down.
Awesome.
What do the people of Twitch want to talk about?
So first off, Magic Touch 69 says hi.
Also nice.
All right. It's funny. The very first, the first level cap that we had, maximum level cap in Borderlands 1, was 69. And for a long time, on Twitter, I only followed exactly 69 people.
Nice.
And, some people like, oh, I'm just, perv. And look, there's no denying that 69 is a sex thing, but here's the thing.
Life's short,
It's
man.
beautiful.
Find joy where you can.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's beautiful because everybody's having a good time. That's the great thing about that number. It's everyone's involved. There's give and take. And this is what entertainment's all about. It's a relationship between the entertainer and the audience, and we're all in this together, baby. So I really appreciate Magic Touch 69, and I will say hi back to you.
Nice.
Ma'am or sir.
All right. Yeah.
Or something else.
So his main question, since people were already asking about Borderlands 3 and Brothers in Arms, was actually that if you guys plan to release the old Duke Nuke Forever builds. I guess because another company was releasing... Let me see here. I got to scroll back up a little bit. Devolver Digital released a whole heap of builds of Shadow Warrior a while ago. So he was wondering if it's possible to release Duke Forever builds.
Oh, man. I would love to go. I worked on Shadow Warrior. Did you know that? I was, I did half of the shareware levels myself in Shadow Warrior.
What?
The original, back when I was at 3D Realms. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I worked with Keith Schuler on that project and Stephen Cole. Both are at Gearbox now. Both have worked on the Borderlands series, for example, and other games. Big picture. I did a live chat with a bunch of folks from the Duke4.net forums, and those people are like the most awesome Duke Nukem super fans. Those guys. I always feel like I owe Duke Nukem my career, because that was really the first commercial product I worked on as a game developer. Duke Nukem 3D with Alan Blum and Levelord and those guys, and Dirk and all those guys, and I think that to me it's really, really important. One of the things we talked about that, as much as I can make a commitment in the context of that, but one of the things I talked about was that there needs to be, in my opinion, a definitive package of the past. And one thing we did recently, we launched, when I say recently, like a little over a year ago, I think, we launched the Duke Nukem 20th Anniversary World Tour.
Yes.
And it kind of remastered the original Duke Nukem 3D, the first 4 episodes, but it added a 5th episode, and that episode was created by Alan and Richard, and that was all new, never before seen content. It had new music created by Lee Jackson. I mean, it was like getting the band back together. It was awesome, and so anybody that loves classic Duke should check that out. But that and a bunch of other things we're in the process of compiling. And I mentioned on the chat that there to do that right, to make that request, we don't have the publishing rights for Duke Nukem Forever. Those publishing rights were earned long before we were ever involved by Take-Two for 3D Realms. And when 3D Realms shut its doors and laid off all of its employees, they then were sued by Take-Two because they owed the game, So what our role was, George and Scott called me and basically needed a rescue. They owed a lot of money. They had some debt, and they had this obligation to deliver this game, and they couldn't really do it. And so what we were able to do, we were in a spot where we were able to help them out. And a bunch of the old 3D Realms guys didn't give up. including Alan, like I think about a third to half of the team kept working on Duke Nukem Forever even after they were all terminated. They were all laid off, and they were working for free out of their houses, and they kept the game going. And what we did was we helped finance and organize and produce their effort. So all of the things created at 3D Realms over the last 15 years with this leftover team from 3D Realms to assemble, compile, and ultimately release their game. And it was really interesting for me because I was kind of watching from the sideline, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm not objective at all. Like, I think I owe Duke Nukem my career, but I was able to watch this game and play it as they were working on it, and I thought it was just brilliant and absurd, and things in it that you can only do in Duke Nukem that I thought were just really fun. So I was glad that we were able to help produce that and make sure that game was finally launched so everybody can see what those guys have been working on for so long. But there has been this latent kind of desire, I think, because over the years there had been different trailers and different things that 3D Realms had put out that to the public that was looking at those things, they imagined that there were full games behind those trailers. Like there was a trailer in 1999, I think. Was it 98 or 99 or 97? Somewhere around there. And then there was a trailer in 2001. And those particular trailers, the first one was on the Quake engine, the second one was on the Unreal engine. Those trailers, I think, led to this belief that there was a game that you could play that people wanted to play. But I do think that with this compilation, if I can get the rights squared away, the compilation should include everything Duke Nukem, including Duke Nukem Forever, and I think it should include some of those, or as many of those materials as can be compiled. And we've got a lot of that stuff. But I'm deeply afraid that people are going to be very disappointed because there was never a game. Those trailers weren't games. They were bits of content and technology that were put together to render scenes that looked like gameplay, looked like they were indicative of a larger effort, but that was basically it. And yes, some of it is interactive and playable, but it's not playable in the way we imagine playing a game. The best version that there ever was of Duke Nukem Forever is the version that shipped, and it's the only version you can play as a game. But the other stuff, you can certainly be interested. It's almost like forensically, it's forensically interesting, and I hope to get that stuff out there. And we still have some business to do, and there's some other complications which I really can't talk about. But we are working on that, and I do think that deserves to exist. In the same way I was willing to take a hit, I lost a lot of money, it cost me a lot of money, and some people think I'm bad because we launched Duke Nukem Forever. But I think it deserved to come out, and we all got a chance to see that game, and that wouldn't have happened without the effort. And I'll be willing to take a hit again. We're going to get this stuff out there. And I hope people appreciate it for what it is. But hopefully that answers that question from Twitch. Do you think I covered it? That was a long way to answer that question. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think I answered that question?
Yeah, thank you for going into so much detail about it. Thanks for taking my call. I see some other people maybe were going to call in for some other Twitch questions, so I think that would be it for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think people should call. I think if anybody else is out there and you want to chat with me and ask me anything,
definitely.
Let's do it. But thank you for calling. Is there anything else you'd like to chat about while you're on the line?
I was wondering about some different questions I might have. The only one I had, and I know it's super silly.
There's no silly questions.
Yeah,
there's no silly questions, just silly people.
We like silly.
What's the question?
So it was like, oh, you guys hired me, that kind of thing.
Oh, are you awesome at something that's helpful for game development? Because we're always hiring.
I have a really good grasp of 3D space, so just generic 3D work.
Okay.
I'm good at all that stuff.
Well,
I'll
tell you what. We are always looking for people that can do game development work that are better than we are. So anyone that has any skill that they can demonstrate, that they can do it better than we can do it. Whatever that is, even if it's like, well, I can make this texture better than they can, or I can make this model, or I can make this animate, or I can write this code better, or I can do this UI element, or I can build this level, this environment area. If you can beat something we've done, we definitely want you. We are always looking for people that can make us better. Every single developer at Gearbox loves to work with people that kick ass. And the only thing more inspiring than making stuff yourself is when the person next to you makes something that makes you want to try harder. And we love that so much. So if you have any skill that you think can, that you can show us, that you can do over and over again, that's useful for game making, there's a jobs board on the Gearbox website, and there's always openings for some specific jobs, but we also have like a catch-all because even if there's no specific job for what you're good at, you can always give it a shot. And if it doesn't work out the first time, keep checking in. Either keep work if you get specific feedback, keep working on what that feedback's about. And if you don't get specific feedback, then it just means that we're busy on other fronts, or and look, the other thing too that I'll tell anyone that might be listening that might hit us up, it's not a bad thing to keep banging on our door until you get specific feedback, because we do get a lot of people. Like, we can't possibly even deal with all the interest. So some of it's persistence. Yep. So there's some of it's luck, but nothing beats just talent and skill and something demonstrable that you can do that's rad that we need. And we, like, the people that make games at Gearbox, they're hardcore. Like, I work last week I averaged about 12 hours a day in the office. And that felt light to me. You know what I mean? So, like, the people and the developers, we're hardcore. We just love making things. And so if that's you, if you just can't not make things, then you might be a good fit. And that usually people that have to make a lot tend to get really good at what they're working on. Because there's this other kind of theory I have, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I don't know that talent is a thing. In my own life, and I'm my own best, I'm my own data point on this one. I mean, I can only know my own life experience, but I know that I tend to do a lot of the things that I like to do, and I tend to get good at the things I do a lot of.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's right. So some people really want to spend a lot of time. And by the way, this is something also that's similar between magic and game making. I don't know if you know this, Elisa.
No.
But the thing that makes game makers special or magicians special is no one can really imagine that we're willing to put in as much time as we put into the things that we're trying to do. I mean, it is just an absurd amount of time in the stupidest, smallest details, like ridiculous amounts of time.
It makes a lot of sense.
When as a designer, like building a level, like there's times where I probably would spend 150 hours on a room, just working on that room. And I'm not the one that would even probably have the highest mark there at the studio. Like, it's just insane how much time we'll spend on things. And I think it's because we're all a little broken. And
I think most
probably a little
are.
crazy. We're probably insane people. We probably have serious things wrong with us. I know, like, I'm probably also on the spectrum, but the focus helps. The focus helps, I'll tell you that. But hey, thanks for your call. I have to ask you something, if you don't mind. So you play video games, I take it. Did you jump into any of the new releases this last week? Call of Duty this week, or Assassin's Creed, Mario Odyssey, or Wolfenstein last week?
No, the last purchase I've made was Destiny 2 on PS4, and that's going to be it for a while. I don't really have
nice
purchasing power for newer things.
I'll tell you what, though, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm
enjoying it.
Yeah, my wife and I both picked up Destiny 2, and there's a lot of neat stuff in there. It's like, as a gamer, I'm glad it exists, and I'm really grateful because I like, obviously I like games that have similar aspects of that. As a developer, I'm also really grateful because it's good. It's not like the most amazing game I've ever played, but it's really good. And it's just good enough where I think it shows the world like, man, like there's a whole bunch of new gamers that are discovering that kind of game through Destiny 2. And oh my God, we're going to wreck those people. Like I'm so grateful for Destiny 2. So, but yeah, I love it as a customer, and I'm glad it exists. And I think you made a good choice. I think, in fact, Destiny 2 will probably give you the most, unless you're like a hardcore competitive multiplayer gamer, of all the games we mentioned, it'll probably give you the most in that value, that dollars to hours of play ratio that I talked about earlier. Depending on what you dig.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on.
Oh, believe me, I'll get a lot of time out of it.
Yep.
Cool. Hey, well, thanks for your call. It was fun talking to you. And please encourage other people from Twitch to call in.
Thanks for repping the crew in chat.
Cheers.
Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Right on. Cheers. All right. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice of her to call in.
Yeah, that was really,
on
really
of,
nice. I almost want to just like name her as like Twitch ambassador. Just have her call in.
Right on.
And grab some questions.
Oh. So hey, if anybody wants to chat with us, call on in,
we have
and
open
we'll be
lines.
happy to answer the questions. The phone number is, what is it?
830-549-NERD. That's 830-549-6373.
Oh wow, I like your announcer voice.
Yeah. I did college radio for a summer.
Oh nice. How was that?
It was cool. The only place we had reception was the local prison. That was one of the only places that could listen to us, and that was a fun time. So had a lot of collect calls asking for requests for songs.
Your audience were criminals, pretty much incarcerated, or the security officers trying to help their day pass.
Yeah, but the cool thing was, and I kind of broke the rules a little bit because for college,
as you do,
that's what I do. That's why I'm here. So I in college radio, because of certain licensing things, you're not necessarily supposed to play things that are on heavy rotation in major radio stations because we didn't really have the license to do a lot of that stuff.
I see.
So we would have an album that was really, really popular, but we couldn't play the hit single. We would have to play something else. That was
the B-side.
We could only play B-sides. We could only play B-sides. And my last day, I was just kind of frustrated, and I got a really nice email from someone who said that they really enjoyed my selections and they really enjoyed when I would like come in and talk about stuff. And they had a request, and they requested Guns N' Roses, and we couldn't play Guns N' Roses, and I felt awful. But then I said, it was one of those like, it's my last day. It's the last song of the day. I'm probably not going to do this ever again. So welcome to the jungle. Last song of my set.
That's great.
Dedicated. And I was like, it was kind of a lesson because I was like, I'm bringing someone joy. And that gave me just the biggest thrill ever. I'm like, people out there are happy. I'm happy.
I love this story.
Make people happy.
I love so there's a funny thing I learned from, of all people, Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller, that sometimes people do stuff on their last day of work, right? Things that they would not do normally. But the thing I learned from Penn Jillette, which is really, it's a funny thing to say because sometimes people they accidentally do things that they don't intend to do or that don't go the way they plan or whatever. And you can make a joke about it. Now, I have not made this joke in my own business because I think as the president of the company, I don't think it's really nice for other people to hear me making jokes about people's jobs. But the joke is this.
Yeah, I'm sitting right here.
That's a funny thing to do on his last day of work. That's a funny thing for him to, so like, let's say like Bob, who's not quitting, it's not his last day of work. Like he's been at the company for a while, he's done a thing and he maybe messes up or does something. It's like, oh, that's a weird thing to do on your last day. That's the gang. I like it. I've never used it at my own job, but I've used it with other people. Like, Christy, my wife, was telling me about a line cook in the restaurant who I think so. I don't broke a big expensive piece of equipment on accident, and but it was because of they were kind of goofing off. And I said, that's a funny thing for him to do on his last day of work. So, yeah, it's kind of shitty, but I first heard that from Penn, so he gets credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, and it was like I'd already told them that I wasn't going to do this anymore. And, and of course this is before I, learned anything about ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC, coming down to potentially shut down the college radio station because we played one Guns N' Roses song.
I don't know what any of those things are, but I'm kind of glad.
Those are music publishers, and they are very litigious.
Nice.
So I don't know. It was just one of those things where like my desire to bring joy trumped my desire to follow the rule on that. For those what? 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
If you're gonna break a rule, do it to try to create joy and happiness. That's a good rule to break. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I don't know. I wonder what the biggest rule I've broken was. Oh, I'll
This is being recorded.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
You know what? I should probably let the first thing that came to my mind, I should probably let lie because it's still kind of active. Yeah, I just realized something. Oh man, now everybody's wondering what I'm thinking about. I'm just such a jerk. No. Such a jerk. So okay, let's change the subject then to save me from giving everyone a clear read that something's on my mind that I can't. I just want
to have just like
how many moons?
The next episode, we're gonna have a little soundboard.
Here's the subject change. How many moons do you have?
Oh,
how many moons are you up to already?
I think I have 81.
That's pretty 82? Good. That's not bad. When did you get the Switch?
On Wednesday, but I only started playing on Friday.
Because you're like me, you have a job.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one of those.
Yeah, we got to work. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit ahead of you, but I've got about 200 or so. I'm ready to finish the game, but I don't want to finish it. So I decided to go into completionist mode. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that thing where like I think I finished the first 3 levels, and now I'm going. I'm kind of backtracking to get more moons before I kind of move on. So I'm kind of just like constantly backtracking, getting more moons and stuff, so that I'm not completely caught out there.
Cool. Awesome. I like that too. I'm a completionist. I was a 75 star guy in the original Mario 64. Like that's just the way it goes. So I love that this game, did you play Mario 64?
I didn't actually.
Oh my God.
I had this huge gap because we didn't have a Nintendo for a long time, but Super Mario World was my entire life.
Okay.
SNES. And then that one, it was one of those like I could speed run Star World, like that whole situation. But then there was a huge gap until Galaxy.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so I never touched 64.
Galaxy, by the way, was one of, in my opinion, it might have been the best Mario game until Odyssey. Mm-hmm. Like it was because
like innovative, but it still had all of those hooks that made you feel like you were there again, like just a kid playing a classic game again.
Absolutely. All right, should we take another call?
Ooh, yeah. There is a paragraph.
Let's take a call. All right. This is this Alex from New York?
Hey, what's up, Randy?
Hey, Alex, you're talking to Randy and Elisa. We're live right now.
Hello.
How's it going?
Excellent. All right, so I have 3 questions.
Three
I have
questions.
One personal question.
Whoa. Can I take?
I have two quick questions from Twitch.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can we take them one at a time?
Yeah, no, I'll ask them one at a time. So,
cool.
My personal question is, and this is related to Borderlands.
Okay.
And I'm not going to try and press you on anything.
Thank you.
I know you said that you've said you're not gonna. I'm not going to try and push you to say anything you can't obviously say.
You can push me all you want.
You're just not going to get anything.
We'll see. Okay, we'll see. Maybe you find a magic button.
No.
Maybe you find a magic button. I don't know.
Question. I'll try to phrase this in a way that you won't get a talking to from your publishing department after this. But so, as I'm sure you know, the Borderlands community is huge, and you've created really a great group of people.
Team effort.
With your game.
But thanks.
as sort of outsiders to publishing, as the community, we don't really ever know when we should start getting hyped for a game or not. But would you say that right now, as a community, should we be getting excited? Should we be starting the hype for Borderlands, or should we sort of lay off and give you guys time?
You're asking me to tell someone else how to feel? I can't, I can't tell anybody else how to feel. Oh man, that's an impossible question. Look, man, is the
timing right?
I don't look. I can't tell anyone else how to feel. I have, like, for my own part, there's a lot of things I love, and I'm always excited about shit. I'm still waiting for the freaking Deadwood movie. You know what I mean?
Whoa!
So, like,
I haven't heard that name in a while.
So, like, I don't know when I don't know when the right or wrong time is to be excited about the potential of a thing. But I will say that when we have a game to announce and we announce it, then we've announced it. And that means we've got something to say. So then there's something to actually, here's what's funny. So earlier we were talking about theme parks, and we were talking about Orlando.
Yep.
And I'm a big theme park nerd, but you know what else I figured out? I went on a Disney cruise. And
I've never been on one.
I'm going somewhere with this. I love the Disney cruise is unfrickin' real.
Really?
Okay. So Disney announced at their most recent thing, they said, yeah, we're going to make some more boats. And for Disney cruise people, this is a big deal. What are these boats going to be called? What are they going to be? How big are they going to be? What's going to be inside of them? Like, because the themed restaurants and stuff inside the cruises and all the theaters and all the other cool activities on the boats, they're all a little different. Every time somebody builds a new boat, there's new stuff, right? And where are they going to sail? Where are the boat? What's the idea? And like, I want the answers to all of these questions. I know there's going to be another boat. Heck, there's probably going to be a couple of boats because they build them in pairs. There might even be 3 boats. And I totally want these experiences, and I want to know where they're going to go. I want to know how big they're going to be. I want to know what the staterooms are going to look like. I want to know what restaurants are going to be on the boats. I want to know what kind of activities are going to be on the boats. And like, I work a lot, so I don't get to do this a lot. I've been on I take a vacation like once every 2 or 3 years. And when I do, though, I do it. And so, like, and I gotta say, I love the Disney cruise. So by the time these boats are done, I might be ready for my next vacation. We'll see. But I'm really excited about this. And a friend of mine, actually, he's kind of a coworker. He's the editor-in-chief of Genie Magazine, which is the oldest magazine for magicians. If there's any magicians listening that are interested in magicking and learning about the best in magic, I highly recommend checking out Genie Magazine. You can check out geniemagazine.com or genieonline.com. Anyway, he's the editor of the magazine, and he sent me a link to this story about the new Disney boats. And I was like, ooh, and I could see from the link that it was going to be about that. So I click on the link, and it comes up. And the story, the entire thing is speculation. Like, the guy that wrote the story, like, it pitches itself like new details about. And it's exactly like a video from some YouTuber we might watch, which is going to talk about some game we haven't announced yet that has, like, it's all speculation, and they pitch it as news. And so this guy's like, I think they should call one of the boats Disney Legend, and I think the other boat should be called Disney Imagination. And this is just some guy just dreaming about what he wants, right? Because they have the Disney Dream and the fantasy and the magic and all that. Those are the boats that already exist. And I think that these new boats should all sail out of, like, Texas and Florida, so they can all stop at Disney's private island, Castaway Key, in the Bahamas. And he's got all this stuff.
But it's not.
It's all. There's no actual.
There's no
no
facts.
information. All of the information was conjured in his brain. And who is Disney to tell him he shouldn't And who am I to tell him? In fact, I liked reading that story. I was grateful that story existed because I got to dream too. I got to think to myself, no, I hope they don't call the one legend, but imagination's a good idea because there's a whole imagination realm in Epcot Center.
So you're just writing your own little mini
and
hype
every
train.
one of us, yes. And all I'm doing is creating expectations for myself that will undoubtedly be shattered because whatever they're going to do has to be by definition different than what I might imagine or dream in my own
But you were
mind.
excited and happy.
I'm excited and happy for a brief time. So my answer to you is I cannot tell you how to feel. But I am so freaking grateful that you care about what we're working on. And I can't wait to share all this cool stuff we're doing. And I'm really looking forward to that day. Obviously, that day is not today. And I know for everyone that wants it to be today, I know how excruciating that is because I want to get on one of those damn boats like yesterday. I want to be on one of those damn boats like yesterday. And in fact, I might not even take a vacation until these boats are ready. So how's that? How's that for commitment? But I don't recommend that you not take a vacation until the next game that you're looking forward to comes out or is even announced. You can take a vacation right now if you've earned it.
There you go.
So that's my
Treat
advice.
yourself.
Treat yourself. All right. Did you want to press me some more? You got another angle on me? I gave you all that. What else you got?
Well, no, I completely understand.
Okay.
There's a lot of, as I'm sure you know, the Borderlands community where it's complete speculation at this point. Really, people. Everyone wants to know, when are we going to hear about it? When are we going to get to see a teaser? When are we everyone's, haunting the
if
Twitch
anyone
chat
finds out, please
guys,
tell me. Please tell me because
Yeah.
I'd like to know too. When we announce, especially for that franchise, we're going to announce, like, there's two things that I think people that have been waiting for us to do things for a while, like one of them is something else in the Borderlands franchise, and the other one is something else in the Brothers in Arms franchise. And there are a lot of people that want more Duke Nukem as well and Homeworld and all that. But I think Brothers in Arms and Borderlands are probably the most demand.
Top two for sure.
But in all of our properties where we have the control, where the Gearbox created properties where we have the control, we're going to not announce until we've got it. And when I say got it, I mean like the game's there. Like we know what it is. We're probably post-alpha.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right.
But I want to announce with the promise. I want to be able to make a promise that I know will beat. So the only way to do that is to already have it. So what else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, because you mentioned you had some other stuff from Twitch too.
No, I completely understand. I completely respect your attitude on that, and I'll be here whenever you do announce it. But
I hope you are.
I also have two quick questions from Twitch chat.
Cool.
First guy from UK wants to know basically about the Borderlands movie. What's going on with that?
Okay, no, this is interesting. I can talk about some stuff. I have no idea what the rules are on this. I don't have a specific muzzle. I do want to be respectful because there are some people behind the film. Lionsgate is the studio behind it, and I know they care a lot about the film. And then Arad Productions is the production company, and Arad Productions, Avi Arad ran Marvel Studios. Arad created, Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man. I'm talking about the movies, right? The Avengers, and of course now Disney bought Marvel Studios. But these guys are so awesome, and I love working with Ari Arad, and his ambition is to figure out how to make a video game movie that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And to make a big, awesome, exciting movie based on a video game franchise. And I'm so stoked that he picked us. He thinks the Borderlands franchise is perfect for that ambition. And he's explained to me a couple reasons why. One is that because of the art direction, because it wasn't trying to be realistic, it's kind of like a comic book. No one has a specific actor or likeness in their minds for the character. So it's okay. And we see this in cosplay for Borderlands, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to see a real person become a character, and it totally works because we don't have a real person already in our mind. We just have the graphic art direction style in it. So that's one reason. Also, the tone is this combination between seriousness and irreverence somehow baked together. The main line is always dead serious and on the nose, but then there's this surface experience to Borderlands games, which is almost a comedy, and that formula is really critical to the big successful blockbuster films. Like when you look at the comic book movies that do well, there's a serious underpinning to all of it, but they have a lot of fun.
Right.
Even your biggest action movies, if the characters don't ever joke around, it's just too much, and they don't do as well as the ones where we get to have some fun with it. You got to have fun with the premise, and Borderlands allows that. So, and there's a whole bunch of other reasons. So he's really in it, and so I love it. So we worked on a script, and we worked a lot with some writers on a script, and we worked that script and reworked that script and reworked that script and got it. It was okay, and then we got some more writers, and we started over with a new script, and we worked that script and worked that script, and I'm feeling like this is starting to be pretty damn good. This is starting to be pretty damn good. So now the next step is to get more of the team together, right? To get a director involved, and I've had some awesome meetings. And I think that business is actually going on right now. So I want to be careful not to talk about it because I don't want to disrupt that business. I've had some.
You want to get a phone call out.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's real. Hollywood's a trick, and the movie business is a trick, and I don't want anyone to be able to I don't want to say anything that can be construed to affect a negotiation that's happening. Right. I've had some good meetings with some great. I've had some great meetings with some great directors that I mean, any number of them I'm crazy excited about. There's some I'm more excited than others, but all of them are like, holy crap. And so now it's really up to Lionsgate to do some business there, to put that arrangement together. And then with the director in place, then we can build more of the team. We'll probably iterate the script some more and start some pre-production. And then the next step will be go to a green light where production can be greenlit, and then a movie's happening. In my experience, when the director is hired and committed, that movie's probably getting made. Right. That movie's probably getting made. So this is
everything kind of snowballs.
So this is a big, but we'll see. It's Hollywood's Hollywood, but most movies never get made. But the way this feels, I think this movie's getting made. Like, the more Ari and I and other folks involved are working on it, the more excited we're getting about it, and the more potential we see in it. So, and the more like, sometimes the dream is better, but and as things take shape, the reality isn't quite as good as the dream. In this case, reality starting to take shape is actually better than the dream, because the dream at first it's like, how's that going to work? A Borderlands movie, is it live action? So as it's starting to be realized, it's actually getting better, and that's a really good sign.
I'm on like a little hype train now.
So the other interesting thing about your question, I'll give you some more stuff. There are some movie things going on with some of our other properties.
That's right. Very
exciting stuff, and this is a whole new world for us and for entertainment, and I'm just stoked. It's just really, really cool that someone else would want to, invest their energy and their capability and their talent and the resources into realizing, these universes and characters we've created on the Hollywood screen in a totally different medium is just really thrilling. I get as excited about it as I get when there's folks that licensee will want to take something we've made virtually and bring something to the real world as a physical object, like the action figure stuff going on that McFarlane's doing is like, oh my God, it's so freaking cool. I can't believe it. It's so awesome. And so, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. So what else is that good? Did I answer your question? Kinda?
Yes, you did. I have one more question from Twitch, and this is also from Magic Touch 69.
Nice.
That guy.
Nice.
That guy.
He has another question. I'm gonna basically quote his question. He asked, "Even though Furious 4 is dead, can we ever see anything more from it, or is it all property of Ubisoft now?
It's so. First of all, Furious 4 didn't die; it mutated. I'll actually get into this a little bit. So, when we were working on the sequel to Brothers in Arms: Hell's Highway, Ubisoft suddenly. Okay, so when let me go back in time. When we did Road to Hill 30, the first Brothers in Arms game, that was just all us. We made this thing, and we at first we were actually with Microsoft, and I was able to do a deal where I bought because Xbox One was awesome. When I say Xbox One, I'm talking about the original Xbox, the first Xbox. It was awesome, but it didn't. It was of the video game platforms, it had like the least customer base, and with Microsoft we were on that platform only, and also they had a lineup, and so they had a lot of titles they were managing. And Ed Freeze had just left the studio. Ed Freeze kind of started the Xbox as the head of that group, and they were kind of looking. So like we were kind of hoping to get our product, our title, to more people, and they were looking for less things to deal with. So what I did is I negotiated with them, and I bought the publishing rights back from Microsoft, and I took it around and shopped it for the original Brothers in Arms game. And eventually Ubisoft picked it up. Some other folks were interested in it, but Ubisoft was able to help us get a PlayStation 2 version because they had a team in Shanghai that could develop that. So that was really what put them over the edge. So that began our deal with Ubisoft. But beyond just them helping with the PS2 version with their Shanghai team, which was incredible, it was sort of a side bet. Like they didn't count on it. They didn't know what it was going to do. And it wasn't their property; it's our property, right? So it was just sort of the side bet they make because they publish and they like to sell video games, and it looked good. It looked really hot. So when we showed it to them, like, this looks really good, and Serge really wanted it. Serge is their head of creative, and so they took it and they published it, and it killed, right? Like it. I mean, the first Brothers in Arms game had higher review scores and sold more units than both the first Medal of Honor and the first Call of Duty, and that kept going. So now, suddenly, this thing that was a side bet was really important to Ubisoft's business. It was now relevant to their business. So what happened was they started getting involved. And when they did the deal with us to publish the sequel after Hell's Highway, they really insisted on all this kind of involvement and extra control. And, I mean, when I did the deal, I was really kind of grateful for the attention. Like, I'm like, wow, that means we're really succeeding and they care. And I convinced myself this was a good thing. But their ambitions for the franchise were a little different than ours. They really put a lot of pressure on us to turn it into less of a authentic piece and do more of like a Hollywood kind of thing with it. And while that's super cool, it wasn't Brothers in Arms. So, but we'd worked on that, and that's what started to become Furious 4. And this was another case, where announced too early, because it wasn't close to being done. We had a vertical slice, and Ubisoft, they wanted to announce it at their press conference at E3, and I said, okay, I'll go and I'll do it. I'll do my job, and I'll represent the title, but we're going to use this as a litmus test, really. Like, let's see, because I think this is tonally wrong. And I told Eve and Elaine, I think this is tonally wrong. I think that this is too Hollywood and this isn't Brothers in Arms. And I was trying to encourage them into letting it spin off into being a new IP.
Right.
Now, I think in hindsight, they probably misinterpreted my position there. They probably saw me as trying to move it to a new IP as me trying to take Brothers in Arms away from them. And that wasn't the case at all. I was just trying to do what was right for where that game was going, because I thought the game was turning out to be fun. It just wasn't Brothers in Arms.
Right.
So we went to E3 and I did my job, and I got up there and I pitched the game and let them show the video they made. And then we had our live demo that we did on the show floor. It was our vertical slice, and it was awesome. But like all the people that weren't fans of Brothers in Arms, they're like, this isn't. All the people that weren't fans of Brothers in Arms were like, wow, that looks pretty neat. This is cool. I want to check this out. The people that were fans of Brothers in Arms were like, it's not Brothers in Arms.
Right.
So I went back to Ubisoft after E3. It was actually the last night I had dinner with those guys. They're so awesome. These guys are so smart and they're so great at making games. But it was so interesting because I said, like, okay, right? See the feedback? I was right? Let's take Furious 4, make it a new IP, and then we'll do something else with Brothers in Arms. And they're like, hey, did you see the feedback? People are responding really good to it, right? Let's keep going on Furious 4. And it's like,
right.
They were more interested in the new guy than the fan of Brothers in Arms. And so I thought, oh, crap, we have a problem. So then what I did is a couple months later at the German Gamescom, I sat down with Eve and I said, listen, I think we should switch, move this. I think we should change it and move it or something, or maybe we have to separate, but this isn't going to work. And they weren't really happy about that. And things almost got ugly, but we were able to come to the table and work out a deal. And the deal resulted with, okay, they're going to go their own way and we're going to take our property and go our way. And so we own Brothers in Arms, and we own, technically, we own Furious 4, but our heart wasn't really in Furious 4. Our heart's in Brothers in Arms, but we did love the game of Furious 4, and we loved some of the innovations, because what we were doing there was what we were doing, that was the primordial character shooter. That was the hero shooter.
Right.
Furious 4 was the primordial hero shooter. And so what happened was Furious 4 morphed and mutated into what became Battleborn. And that's why Montana is freaking in Battleborn. He was the first character. Montana's the only thing that survived Furious 4. Montana's in Furious 4. So Furious 4 didn't die. It just evolved, mutated, and morphed, and it became this whole other thing. And meanwhile, what we did is we started up a new effort, which was a legitimate, authentic Brothers in Arms, and that effort's ongoing, and we haven't announced it yet, but that's a different effort. So that's the story of what happened there. And what's interesting, too, is for a while, tension with Gearbox and Ubisoft was pretty high, but then we did a deal together. Ubisoft actually distributed the Homeworld Remastered Collection in Europe. We were able to do business in that way, so that was really nice. So, yeah. So there we go. So I hope did that answer your question?
Yeah, that... I'm just watching chat in the background. And, Magic Touch was very satisfied with your answer.
Okay.
Good.
So he agrees with me.
Thanks for your time, Randy.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate your call.
Thanks, Alex.
Cheers. Right on. Hey, well, we're almost out of time. You know what? I think I should try to squeeze one more call in. Is that cool? I think we should do it.
Got like 8 minutes.
I think we should do it.
8 minutes.
Okay. I've got a couple of calls here. This guy's been waiting for a while.
Yeah.
Well, not too long. Let me just take it and we'll see what happens. All right.
Let's see what happens.
Let's take this call.
Just thinking about the Hadouken.
Hi,
Beef.
Liam. This is Randy. You're on the air.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Pretty good. How's your weekend going?
Going good. I got to go back to work on Monday.
Oh yeah. Me too. I hope you're playing lots of games this weekend. That's what I did all day yesterday.
Yep.
So what do you?
I actually had a question.
Yeah, I want to hear your question. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, this probably has been asked already, but do you have any information about Borderlands 3 that you could share with us?
Can we have just we need like a sound thing that plays.
Have you been watching the show? Have you been listening to what's happened so far?
You know what? I really haven't been able to watch too much of it, but I figured it was asked already, and I just wanted to give it a shot anyway.
That's amazing.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I feel you.
Well, while I answer your question, if you want to think about something else you want to talk to me about, there's a number of things that we're working on that we haven't announced yet, and
okay.
I know that I have let people know that there are a lot of people at Gearbox working on future Borderlands stuff, but we haven't announced a game yet. And I know, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to announcing it, but frankly, it's still too early. We're not ready to announce it yet, and we want to make sure before we announce things that haven't been announced, that when we announce, we're ready and we know what it is. We know what it's titled. We know the game. We've got the game far enough along where we can be really confident that whatever promise we make will be delivered, and whatever expectations we set will be exceeded. And that's really important to me. Especially it's most important with where we have the ability to do that, where we have enough control and where we own the IP, where we can, we can affect that. So I've been in the past at times encouraged to show things. In fact, I was just talking about this with Furious 4 that I wasn't sure were ready, but I do my job and I'm always a good partner with our publishing partners, but the process when we make games, things change, and sometimes it turns out sometimes people get attached to the smallest things. And if one of those smallest things changes, then people get really nuts. One of the things I actually had to answer some questions in a trial, in a frickin' class action lawsuit over a game we worked on, where in an earlier video of some pre-release content, there was this sequence of the game where a character was going through this environment, and there was like a blood splatter and cracked glass where another character smashed up against the glass, and there's blood splatter and cracked glass. And in the end, the designer that worked on that area decided to remove the blood splatter because it occluded the view through the glass. And he had an artistic reason for not wanting to block the vision, so he just let the other character smash into the glass and make the crack, but you could still see through the glass and see this beautiful starscape through it. Some people on the internet decided that the fact that this little blood splatter was removed was a travesty and evidence of all this horrible shit that we're terrible for. And and there's like a million little examples like that of little things that change like that, or even big things that change. And I was like actually having to answer questions for a frickin' trial about this. I'm like, dude, artists change stuff. Like, really? Like, come on. Like, you're gonna look over the shoulder of Da Vinci when he's painting the Mona Lisa and then get mad at him when he adds some paint you didn't like? Come on. So one of the things I learned from that is maybe we don't let people look at the painting while we're painting it, and we'll let people look at it when we're done with it. So I know people want to watch how it's painted, but some people can't handle that because the process, the canvas starts blank and it ends up with something. And there's people that have actually scanned the Mona Lisa, like looked at it with like X-rays and things, and there were other like completely different images that he had kind of worked through, different poses, different kind of look, like it was like paint upon paint upon paint that ended up with that thing, and it's now the most famous painting in the world, in the Louvre. Maybe the second, or it might be the second most famous painting. I think the most famous might be
probably just. I don't know if the Sistine Chapel counts.
No, that's a good one, but here's what I think it is. I think it's the George Washington that's on our dollar bill.
Oh.
Because that's on our dollar bill, but that was a painting. Have you ever seen the original?
I have not.
Check it out. This will blow your mind. If you look at the entire canvas of the original, it's about 75% empty. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why the artist decided not to finish the painting. But maybe he only had so much time, and maybe the artist decided to focus on the twinkle in George's eye. And maybe that decision was a good decision, because that's why the part of that painting, the part of that's just his face, that's what is now on our dollar bill. And it probably is the most seen piece of art in the history of the world. And and if we held that artist to the standard of, no, you have to fill the canvas, whatever you started with, whatever idea you started with, if you don't do it exactly that as you go through, then you're a failure. Well, artists make decisions along the way, and that artist decided to focus on George's face,
the twinkle,
and the twinkle in his eye. Go look it up. Look at the original
focus
painting.
On the twinkle.
It's
if there's anything
incredible.
We can take away,
yeah.
from this, is focus on the twinkle.
So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I appreciate your call. And is there anything else you want to chat about before you go? What other kind of games do you like?
You know what? I'm big on Call of Duty World War II, but I'm not going to lie. My all-time favorite game, love Borderlands. Borderlands is the best.
Heck yeah! You're a fan. I'm a fan of yours now. Thanks for saying that. So, hey, I haven't played Call of Duty World War II yet. What do you think? Are you playing multiplayer, or are you playing the campaign?
You know what? I'm doing a little bit of everything. Campaign is really, really good.
Really? Cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Good to know.
I'm excited. I love the subject matter. I created a franchise back in the day called Brothers in Arms, which was, our ambition was to be the most authentic in the World War II genre, and I think we succeeded at that. And I really am looking forward to seeing what those guys on the Call of Duty team did with the subject matter, because it's been a while since they've been there, and I love the subject. So it's one of the things I plan to get through in the next. Probably play that one over Thanksgiving break. That's my plan.
Good move.
Have you finished the campaign yet?
I haven't yet. I'm still on about the 6th or 7th mission right now, but it's really good.
How many missions are there? Like how many hours do you think it'll take, if you had to guess, at your current pace?
I don't know. I'm doing it on veteran right now. It took me about 8-9 hours to get about halfway through, so it's probably a good 16, 17 hours.
That's not bad. Veteran's one of the harder skill levels, though, right?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you're awesome then. You're going for it. You're a real gamer. I dig it. Cool. Right on. Well, thanks for your call, Liam. Thanks for talking, and maybe we'll catch you some other time. I'm going to let you go.
Yep. All right.
Thanks, Liam.
Thank you.
Right on.
All right.
I think it's about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's about that time for some Hadouken Beef.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you started describing it, now I'm like, okay, what time is it?
I'll hook you up with some Hadouken Beef. It's really, really good, and you can do it without the Hadouken sauce if that's too spicy for you. You don't have to dip it in the sauce. Okay. It does have a bit of a bite, but that's part of its charm. It's got to have punch. Bam! It wouldn't be Hadouken without the punch.
There you go. That's right.
Right on. So, Elisa, anything else you want to cover before we sign off?
Oh, I'm good. I think we learned a lot. I'm very grateful for folks like Natsume holding it down for the folks in the Twitch chat. We'll definitely figure out ways to maybe potentially get more people from outside the U.S. to call in.
Okay.
So that we can open up to a wide variety of people. But hey, Natsume, if you want to end up just being Twitch rep for future shows, go ahead and do that.
Right on.
But no, I'm really, really grateful for the folks that decided to call in, and I think we also learned a lot about just kind of the process of things and how things are a lot more complicated than we as consumers, seeing flashy things.
I thought you were talking about like us learning how to do a podcast.
No!
Like I feel like as an inaugural show, I feel like we learned a lot here. I can't wait for us to put some notes together. I think we should do this again. You down coming back next week? Should we do it again?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'll be free. I might be free.
Let's do it. I'm excited. And eventually, maybe we can swap out some hosts, swap out some co-hosts, and get some other interesting people to talk about nerd stuff with everybody. Right on. Cool. Well, I had a lot of fun. Thanks for doing this with me.
Of course.
And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, come back again. We'll be doing it live on Sunday from @Nerdvana. If you happen to live anywhere in Dallas or North Dallas and you want to hang out with us, we're going to go to @Nerdvana, @Nerdvana Food Plus Spirits, and I'm gonna have dinner. We're gonna have dinner right now. And if you happen to be in the area and you want to come by and say hi, introduce yourself. Say hi. Maybe I'll show you a magic trick. And tune in next week. And thanks for watching, everybody.
Awesome. And thanks so much to Joe, our screener, holding it down.
Thank you, Joe.
And thanks you so much to Evan on tech.
Thank you, Evan. Joe's been screening calls, and Evan's, I guess what you say in the booth, like handling the video and the sound and all that for us.
Evan on the ones and twos and throwing things at us.
Awesome.
And of course, thanks to Meredith on social.
Yes.
And of course, everybody on Twitch and YouTube watching.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks
Cheers.
so much, everybody. Bye.
Bye.